What?
You shouldn't ever ask that if you think you are live.
See, we're live. All right. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Today is a pretty special day.
Hi. It is.
We're going to talk about it in just a minute.
Hi, guys.
There we go. Now we're live. So today is special for two reasons. What's the first reason? Do you know what is?
Mommy's birthday.
Today is Mommy's birthday.
Mommy's birthday. Woo! So it's the 100th coffee talk.
Woo! Coffee Talk 100.
I thought they were going to say it's your 100th birthday. You look really good for that. So yes, today is the 100th Coffee Talk. And so Stacie and almost the whole family joined me. Corey is taking a nap, so she couldn't join us. So today is the 100th Coffee Talk, and it's Stacie's birthday. So Peter made a very special thing to show us, to celebrate the 100th birthday. Let me see if I can find it here.
I think I heard Corey. I think.
Welcome everybody to Coffee Talk 100.
That was pretty cool, huh? So, Peter just left. I was going to have him explain what he did.
He's going to go see if Corey woke up.
Yeah. All right, William, are you ready to head over there? Yes. Okay, so...
Oh, yep. Corey heard we were starting and decided she needed to come and
So
make her
Peter, we
appearance
just played your thing, and so it was a Lego thing, and you were getting Corey while we got it. So you made that as a stop motion.
Yeah.
Okay, Hudson, can you hop out?
I can hop into your chair. I did it. I decided.
To come close to talk to the mic.
So Papa asked me, so it's going to be the 100th Coffee Talk. What should you do to be special? And I was like, I'll do a small stop motion for you. So I made it. It was really, really fun.
So
And I've been doing a lot of stop motions lately.
Right.
A ton.
Been watching tutorials and trying different effects and learning a lot. And he was super excited on this one. He tried the speaking effect, putting that onto the Legos where they can talk.
I did it on one other one, but this time was the first time. Well, this was the second time that I've done it. Or more or less the third, because I've done several.
All right, here it is. One more time.
Welcome everybody to Coffee Talk 100.
Ta-da! That's pretty cool. All right, well, thank you for making that for me, Peter. And then we have another one all the way at the end.
Yeah.
And we have now we're all here.
Opening and closing.
So Aunt Dorcas is watching, Cousin Burl is watching. That's pretty cool. So, yes, happy birthday, Stacie. And, okay, guys, Mommy and I are going to talk about a few things. Corey, you can stay with us, but why don't you guys go
I'm going to
do something else?
Stop motions.
Y'all gonna go work on your stop motions some more?
Can you actually feel mine?
Yes, you may.
Woo! Thank you!
All right.
Yeah, stop motion has become a big thing here. It was a type of editing and filming that the boys were able to really get a hold of and go with. So they've been doing everything from Santa Ana attacking the Alamo for Texas to The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and then of course lots of just general things crashing and fighting kind of things. But they've also made some really cute videos out of it.
Yeah,
great.
And they can use their Playmobil and they can use their Legos to make different things. And so what they basically have to do is they make one scene at a time. It takes a picture of it. They take a picture of it, and then they change everything just a little bit, take the next picture, and then the program puts it all together.
And then they can add music and sound effects and edit it. They've even been learning how green screen works and
Yeah.
just all sorts of things. It's been great.
Yeah, so it's been a good learning experience for them. They're learning how to tell stories. So that's pretty cool, too. So
Peter even filmed one where he has the mouse from Joseph's computer and leaves his office, goes upstairs.
it escapes.
It asks some Playmobil army men to come and help it. They all come back down the stairs, and they have to fight a teddy bear that's down here to free one of his other mouse.
So this mouse goes to get help. So it's probably around here somewhere. I could probably get it. But anyway, yeah, so he's been making a bunch of different ones. We're actually talking about having Peter starting his own YouTube channel with some of his stories. So we'll be discussing that more. Hey, Corey, are you happy to see Papa?
You happy girl?
Yeah, you're a happy girl.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah, she is actually a very happy little girl.
She is. She's been a good baby.
But because we were at the 100th Coffee Talk on Tuesday, the 22nd, which is your birthday, and we thought we would talk a little bit about celebrations and so one of the things that's been happening a lot is like we'll be doing something. You're just watching Papa. We'll be doing something, and Stacie will look at me and say, "Animals would never do this." And so it's just been kind of funny.
Been on a kick the last few years.
So, for instance, I have.
Okay, so it all started with that verse that we're created in God's image, and so you're sitting there thinking like, our body shape, does God have like this kind of an upright thing? Because we're different from the animals in the shape of our body, but it's got to be so much more than that, right? So you're saying, what is it about us that is the image of God, makes us different than? And so in my mind, it's like, what makes us really different from the animals? The fact that we speak and animals don't speak at all, or the fact that we have scientific discoveries, or that we create things. It's like some animals have one or two pieces because God gave that to them as something, but there's just this real difference between humans and animals. And I think that is what is the image of God in us. That's what makes us like him in that way, when he created us that way. So it's just been a kick for the last couple of years when we're in the middle of doing something and just being like, yeah, an animal, it would never even cross their mind to do this. This is something that makes humans distinctive. So
one of the things was back in 2017, we went up for the solar eclipse, and we went up to Nebraska to be right in the path. And so while we're up there, you know, the mountain, the hill we're on is full of people getting ready. We've got all
traveled for hours.
And I mean, we even camped there the night before. And so we're like completely getting ready for this. So I got one photo of the totality here. Let's see.
It's amazing to see the sun get covered by the moon.
Wow. What just happened? That was weird. There it is.
So Joseph's setting up cameras. There's all these people. Just that expectation as we're all gathered in one place to be under totality to see this phenomenon in the heavens. And then you don't have a picture of it, do you?
Well, I couldn't find the cows. I was trying to find them because, like,
so while it's happening, you look over, and there's all these cows in the pastures around us. They didn't even like raise their head at all, with the fact that it got slightly darker.
So they were eating grass, but as it got darker, they were like, "Oh, it must be bedtime," and they started kind of lining up and heading over to one side of the fence. But like they didn't.
They were just mostly being cows. Here they got to be the most special cows in all of America to be under totality when it happened. And they didn't even ever look up.
Yeah.
And we traveled for hours to be there and went to great trouble and extent. So, yeah, it was just one of those moments to realize. And I started thinking about it. I said, I don't think very many animals at all. There may be one or two bugs or something that use the stars. But the animals don't look at the stars.
Well, and the animals...
They don't wonder what's out there, and if there's other animals out there, they don't wonder about how far away they are.
Yeah, well, like another time we were out in Kansas, and there was like this storm blowing in, and there was a beautiful rainbow, and like the animals, the cows out there didn't even care, you know.
There was a double rainbow, and the most dramatic lighting you've ever seen. Yeah, and all the cows are just like eating grass and not noticing. And so
yeah.
I'm not trying to belittle animals at all. I'm just saying that love of the uniqueness of the world and the awe of creation that is unique to humans.
Yes. And it is. And I think it's true that is part of the image of God that God builds into us, is that he has created us to enjoy beautiful things. But so it also, like, you know, when it comes to birthdays, like cows don't say, oh, today's my birthday.
Right.
You know, you don't have a dog saying, this is the 100th time that I have drank out of this cup. And I'm saying, this is the 100th time I've done a coffee talk, you know? So like, we're celebrating things and we're remembering things. And like, this is something that God actually had told the children of Israel to do, was to remember, to memorialize certain things and to remember certain things. And so it's fascinating to realize that even though you have the Canada geese population going south every for the winter and coming back north, you have the hummingbirds flying places, you have monarchs going places, like their instinct tells them to do certain things when certain things happen, but it's not quite the same. It's not the absolute, you know, like we are waiting, looking forward to, we've made plans, like when the next totality happens in 2024
in Texas,
then we're like, well, can we be in Texas so that we can see the solar eclipse again? Because that was pretty cool, you know? And so that's just, it's an amazing thing to think about, how God made us in his image to care about the seasons and the things that come and go. What do you think, Corey? Do you see something up there? I see myself, but I don't know what to say about it. Oh, Miss Corey. But yeah, that was, it's amazing to think about the fact that we can celebrate life by remembering the birthdays, the anniversaries, and just the seasons as they come and go. We stop and we say, wow, this is a cause for celebration.
Meaning and significance is a difference with them. I think animals are amazing. I love animals. I have many pets. I made sure my kids could experience them. I grew up on a farm and just love seeing the wisdom of God's creation with the way he made them. But it is interesting after working with them for so long. You just really can look into their eyes and realize that there is just that huge difference, that they don't seek out meaning and significance. We sometimes as humans project our own humanity on our animals and interpret for them life. But if you've been around enough animals and stuff, you'll realize that they just don't have those same thoughts that we have on so many levels. And they're fine that way. That's the way God made them. That's perfectly good. That they still glorify him with being who they are in the way that God made them. Just as it glorifies God for us to ask questions of the universe and to seek out meaning in life and to celebrate. And that's what makes us human. It brings glory to him.
Yeah, here's a picture of a waterfall in North Carolina that we have gone to multiple times. And so if you think in terms of like going and seeing this waterfall, like you can take your dog there and the dog will be like, "Ooh, water's falling," and he'll go swimming in it and play with it and be excited about it. But like to actually on purpose say, there's a waterfall out there somewhere, I'm going to go hike for a while and find it, and on purpose be doing it is different than to just show up and be like, oh, this is happening. I love this, because that's the way dogs are. They love the things that are happening. And so, you know, they learn certain habits. Animals will learn where I get fed, where I can find food, where's a safe place to rest. They have some instincts that they learn. And so you'll see the migrations happening and all of that. So there's a level of intelligence that's there that I believe the Creator put in them.
Oh yeah. Like a dog's smell is
right.
So much more than ours and his ability to process that. It's not the ability to memorialize and to remember and to on purpose celebrate the beauty of the creation in the same way. Right.
And that to me is one of the, like you said, I think it is the part of what makes us in the image of God, is that we actually are able to articulate and care about the cycle of the year as it comes back around. We can every year on the same day say, this is the day, and we can make it meaningful, and we can do something. Right. And that's part of the image of God. Are you happy, Corey? You're sometimes sad and sometimes happy. Yeah.
No, and I think another thing that makes it more dramatic is that animals beat us in their own areas that God made for them, like a hawk's or eagle's eyesight is so much more profound than ours. A cat's ability to see in the dark, a squirrel's ability to jump from branch to branch on a tree, and the response time to things. Watching our cats wrestle and play, and their skill, their physical skill, because that's what God gave to them that glorifies Him. But then also just to be aware of the areas where they don't have something that is only found in humans, what makes us unique and different. And those things also reflect God and His wisdom. So I think it's relationships, it's our ability to speak, it's our ability to find meaning and significance on things, to care about our past. I don't know of any animal that does archaeology. And yet we'll dig up something that's thousands of years old and go to much trouble. Why?
Well, sometimes a dog will dig up a bone, a squirrel will dig up a nut.
His bone, but that's
his bone, his nut, his
he's
treasure.
He's not wondering his ancestors.
Did my ancestors leave a bone here for me?
Why? They find this tiny little piece. This tells me so much about them and their life. They don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's fine that they don't.
So being in the moment and being present is much of what is happening for animals. As humans, we sometimes have trouble being in the moment and being present, but we do we do remember and are able to attach meaning to things in a much deeper way.
Right. I think that's also aided by the fact that we live longer than most animals, and so we're able to add layers of meaning and significance as we go.
Yeah.
I remember studying history and finding out that a king who lived, it's King Hammurabi, I believe, Hammurabi's Code. So this is like so far back, like time of ancient Egypt and earlier, that he was doing archaeology. That was something that he was interested in. And I'm like, you were like near the very beginning. What were you digging up?
Well, there were already hundreds of years.
There had already been hundreds of years, but it still was so far back that it was funny to think of a human back then also wanting to know what had happened before them. So that connection to humanity back there.
Yeah.
We all ask the same questions all around the world and find meaning out of the same things. And
yeah. So,
anyways, I'm probably saying lots of generalities that are going to make people think of exceptions. I understand there's exceptions.
There are.
But I'm just saying in general, you can see that these are the things that
and
make humans different.
The reality is if you're looking for exceptions, we should be saying, if God said, I'm creating you in my image, what did He mean, and how are we actually made in the image of God?
Right.
And so, because I have sometimes thought, well, the whole range of emotions that we have, like I have personally seen a frightened or scared animal, especially when I'm thinking about horses. I have seen an angry animal. I have seen,
I've actually seen a sad animal.
Yeah, I've seen sad animals. I've seen affectionate animals. But then, so I'm like, well, when I look at humanity, for the most part, we're able to describe or express our emotion more effectively. But that's not all. So it's not just the emotions that we're feeling, because I've seen emotions. So there's something else.
What makes us in His image, yeah.
And so I think, sure, the emotions can be used as part of the explanation of what makes us be in the image of God. But I think the self-awareness is probably more of it than some of the other pieces. And so like for me, when I have a birthday and I look at how old I am, and then I start doing math to say, well, I remember when I turned 28 years old, and I said, okay, when I was 14, I surrendered my life to Christ. And that was, for me, I was born again at that point. So I was born a spiritual being at 14. So at age 28, I have now half of my earthly life been a believer. And so that was something that I thought about. And so then I started thinking, well, now I'm 28 right now. Like, if I died, how old would I have to be to make this be half of my life if I died now? So I'm like thinking things that like a dog doesn't think about. Like a dog just doesn't lie there and go like, I wonder if I'm halfway done living, like how much. No, he just like gets older and stiffer and like, I just would rather lie on my carpet than go out and do something today. And he's not processing all of this age and calendars and stuff. And so the fact that our Creator can tell us to consider our days and to number our days is pretty profound, that the Creator can tell us, number your days. And so we do. We number our days in a bunch of different ways. We celebrate some of them.
And he said, make sure to teach these things to your children, memorialize these things, bring them up before their memory. And
don't forget. And so I think it's good that we celebrate. And so, yeah, Corey, they say you're very cute. Yeah.
You have lots to say.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that's happened recently with her is she's already getting joked, if you will.
Yes.
Whether it's a peekaboo kind of an idea or other things like that. It's so cute to watch her be so incapable physically, and yet to know those human differences are already coming out, that no animal ever thinks of, I made you smile, haha, that's a joke, or things like that, not on the same level, and yet she's so like wibbly wobbly and can't do stuff.
Do you see yourself?
And of course,
there?
I also think what makes us made in His image is the fact that we have an eternal soul. And it may have been only that God was referring to when He made Adam and Eve. It's possible. But there's also just such strong differences in some other areas that I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are the image of God in us as well.
So now there are times, even when if we just go into the... Oh, Aunt Dorcas said you're very happy. Do you love Mommy better than Papa? Oh, no. How could this be?
She was remembering to accept she normally. So
Yeah, you think
what gifts?
So even like if we're looking at mountains, we'll look at a beautiful mountain scene, we'll see the sun touch it a bit, we'll look at each other and say, are the animals noticing this? And like it's been almost an inside joke for us now for like 5 years, where we'll just see something beautiful and we'll say, oh, well, the animals don't see this. So now, Dorcas, I think it's because I picked her up and took her away from Mommy and made her remember things. As long as she was with Mommy, she couldn't see Mommy. But once I got her away from Mommy, then she was able to see Mommy. You gonna get a pacifier? So the coffee, are you drinking? Well, you're leaving now. So I'm drinking coffee in my... I was trying to think if I had like a 100 celebration coffee mug or anything. I have just my coffee with Pastor Joseph coffee mug. So that's where I'm drinking coffee with this morning, is my coffee with Pastor Joseph mug. And I was also thinking in terms of one other level in which we do things. Like when I went to see the solar eclipse, I remember standing there and watching it happening, and I was taking the photos as we're getting closer, and I was singing a praise song to my Creator because it was so awesome to think that God had made this and that He had done it, and He was glorified if I look at it, like if I am looking at the Creator. And so that the creation, then God is glorified by it. If I'm enjoying His creation and I'm thanking Him, that brings so much glory to Him. And there's a certain level of like me praising the Lord. And so you think about it in terms of like if a hummingbird does what the Creator has made it to do, that brings glory to the Lord. Right. And so there's many ways that animals bring glory to their Creator. But for us humans, one of the things that brings glory to the Creator and actually provides meaning for us, which is a difference, is when I look at it and say, I want to have an impact. I want to have a meaningful conversation. So when I think of coffee and conversation, like for me, the coffee talk is one, like if you come to my house and we sit at my kitchen table and we talk about the Creator, we talk about what God has done for us, like not only does that bring glory to the Creator, but it brings meaning to my life. And so I seek meaning. And that to me seems one other difference between me and the animals, is that they're not looking for that meaning and fulfillment in the same way. Now, if you've ever had a dog and you've learned how to play with it in a way that it loves, it will come back and look for that pleasure over and over and over again. And so many animals will have the same like pleasure sensation. So from that perspective, we are somewhat like animals in that we can respond to pleasure and seek out pleasure, but it also becomes some of the worst parts of our flesh is just beastly, because we're like the who is it that had that phrase? We were like dogs.
I was a man in Peru
Yeah.
who was not following the Lord and was into gambling, drinking, just living the life, and just had that moment when God opened his eyes and he looked around at the partying that was going on, and he's like, we are dogs. We are acting like dogs. Like,
Yeah.
just the ick of, that
So
following all of our
flesh
we
desires.
want to call them flesh desires, and yet when an animal does it, it's just being an animal. When we've had incidences where wild dogs come in or something and kill our barn animals
Yeah.
and stuff, and you kind of want to be angry at the dog, and yet you're like, it's just doing what God made it to do. It's being a dog.
Yeah.
I can't truly be angry at it for real.
I mean, you can, but it doesn't truly help.
It doesn't help. It's good. It's following what God gave it, his instincts. So, and yet we are constantly trying to change our instincts
Yeah.
or our desires, because they have now been tainted by sin. We're under the curse of sin in a different way, I think, than the animals are.
Yeah.
And so we have to not follow all of our impulses and stuff.
Right.
So.
Because for animals, when they have been given an instinct by God, it brings glory to him to do that. For humans, we've been given instincts as well, but then
Now they're
they
twisted.
were twisted and corrupted by sin. And so sometimes I'm just doing what I want to do doesn't work well for the believer, because what I want to do might be the old twistedness of the heart, and it needs to be sanctified and changed.
Right. Even in our higher things have been tainted by sin. Our desire for meaning, for relationships that give us significance, and all of that can also become very, very sinful,
Right, 'cause-
self-focused, selfish.
Right.
And it's,
And this comes back to when I started doing the coffee talks, like a conversation Stacie and I would have frequently back in those days. She'd be like, why do you want to do this? Are you just trying to be an influencer? And the reality is, I'm like, well, I would love to have influence, but the point is that I feel like there is something that God has given me that is best expressed when I share it with other people. And I want to communicate things. And so when you look at my journals and other things, like I want to communicate high truth, but I also want to communicate ordinary truth, everyday facts and just stuff. And so that was part of what this was. In fact, at one point I used to tell Stacie, and it's kind of still true because this has been very helpful, is that, I can't preach a sermon about everything I think about during the week. And so it is nice for me to have a release valve to be able to talk about some of the things I really care about right here, so that on Sunday I can stay on target with the message that God is giving me to preach. So it's kind of like I have too much happening. I need to... And so some of it comes out here in the coffee talk. Some of it happens on Saturday mornings with the guys when we're eating breakfast together and we're talking. I get to share things that are on my heart. And so there's just...
some of it's just our conversation.
Yeah, I get to release...
Come out.
I'm like, Stacie, I want to talk about this. And she'll be, trying to do homeschooling or whatever, working with the boys. And so she will enter into this conversation about some completely random topic, I mean, just think, she's up there doing something and I say, hey, have you ever figured, cows don't like rainbows the same way people do? Like, those are the kind of questions that I might ask. So for me, the coffee talks have been a really good outlet to share. And so if they are helpful or influential, that is more of a byproduct, and it would be the same thing that would happen if you and I sat down together and had a conversation. If conversation was helpful between the two of us, then a coffee talk could be encouraging. But I'm not for 1 minute assuming that I have the Word of God that you need, because you need to actually go get that from the Lord himself, and you're able to hear from God. And I'm expecting and trusting that everyone that's listening is actually seeking the Lord for themselves. You're in a journey of your own, and I'm not the guru that's going to help you, but maybe in a conversation, something I say or share from my life might actually help you. And so when she would...
It's surely happened to us. We've had other conversations. I can think of ones that had deep impact on my life.
Yeah, where just someone shares something, and you're like, that
is the truth I need.
That is exactly what I needed to hear. And so, as we come to Coffee Talk 100, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being plugged in. one of the things that I'm still the most frustrated about with the whole coffee talk thing is, like, right now up in the comment section, I have a bunch of comments from YouTube, and the moment I click end the live, like, they won't transfer over to the channel and stay there. And so I am frustrated by that. The Facebook comments stay on Facebook, but the YouTube ones don't. And I don't know how to make it. Like, I've had people say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. I've tried everything, but while they're in Restream, they won't show.
Oh dear.
While it's live, they won't stay there afterward, and I don't know what.
That's frustrating.
So I'm still trying to figure that out. So if I ever figure that out, I'll probably make a coffee talk to talk about it. But
How it works.
So anyway, thank you guys for hanging with me for a little over 2 years. I've been very grateful for the interaction I've got to have with a lot of you, and I'm glad for that. And so we actually have from Peter an ending. So I'm going to play his ending first, and then my normal ending second. So thank you guys for joining in.
Go ask some deep questions of your pets.
Yeah,
See what they think about.
And go.
Just kidding. Just glorify God for what they are.
Yes.
And
animals.
they're amazing. I love animals.
I love the fact that animals can glorify God by just being animals.
Yes.
That's so awesome. Even the nasty ones who frustrated me when I was a kid trying to take care of them.
How about that documentary? We had a documentary on hummingbirds, and it was like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And we had to watch it for something, and Joseph was like, we're going to watch an hour and a half about a hummingbird. It was the most fascinating documentary we ever saw. They studied everything from its beak, the design of the beak, to the heart, to the wings, to the feathers. They went over everything and showed all this technology that we've been able to learn and glean from a hummingbird. This tiny little bird, and what absolute miracles they are. And by the end of it, you're just praising the Lord. You're like, this is phenomenal. So animals definitely are beautifully crafted and bring so much glory to God.
Yeah, and thanks, Gerald, for posting all the thoughts there on what it means to be created in the image of God. I think that part of being the spiritual, the being spirit is part of what we're talking about, is that we are an eternal spirit, and it makes us see things differently when it comes to the container of time. Anyway, I'm going to do the Peter closing and then my normal closing, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me, Stacie. This is fun. I have to find it first. There we go.
Alrighty, everybody.